So this is my, let me see if I have it right. I do. My topic, this is on the controversy of the minimum wage. As an introduction, this may be something that you have learned in the intro classes, intro microeconomics in particular, as a way to investigate whether or not theoretical and empirical economics agree with each other all the time. In theory, a minimum wage is a type of price floor that increases and introduces deadweight loss and has adverse effects on unemployment. The question I want you to think about is, do the theoretical economics of price floors match the empirical effects of a minimum wage increase on employment? And the last part of that question is deadweight loss also a part of price floors? So the normative analysis is whether or not we should increase minimum wage, whether or not it's good for employees, for employers, whether or not employees experience a benefit from the increased wage, or employers hurt from the labor costs and decreased producer surplus, how society, consumers, producers, wage earners benefits or harmed as a whole. And the studies present mixed findings. The positive analysis is the theoretical graphs of price floors suggest that if you introduce a price above equilibrium, you have a surplus of labor, which leads to higher unemployment, and as we see later, deadweight loss. So the positive analysis from the paper is that they provide objective comparisons compared to regions very close by that did not experience a minimum wage hike, including hours worked, benefit changes, prices before and after the implementation of minimum wage, and possible externalities for the changes. The paper explicitly states underlying models on price floors and minimum wage, but finds evidence that disagrees with the models. The possible winners here are employees, and the government may spend less welfare on the increased salary, and the possible losers are deadweight loss for the employers, which may lead to loss of benefits for the employees, labor costs increases, price increases, and decreased employment. So we have an application description of the article. The article, as you see here, presents a theoretical model in which labor is reduced per week, um, and as labor is reduced, employment increases. As you see here, wait, this is capital, this is wage. As you increase, well, the one on the left is more of a typical um, chart you see in regards to price floors, and you see that there is in this region here deadweight loss, and sort of the difference here, which leads to a surplus of labor, which leads to employment. The point is that in the article, they say they theoretically price floors are not good because of deadweight loss and increased employment. Empirical studies suggest teenage unemployment might be affected negatively, but other studies, the paper we're going to observe, suggests that employment is actually increased after minimum wage is hiked in a statistically significant way. Application related to class, well, we discussed deadweight loss and price floor theory. We discussed this before, but as we increase the price of something above the equilibrium, we get deadweight loss and an increase in employment. Deadweight loss might lead to a loss of benefits for employees and a surplus of labor, which leads to increased employment. Also, prices might increase as well. So this is something we learned in class about deadweight loss and how it relates to the paper we're discussing, and how pushing something above equilibrium has adverse effects on consumer and producer surplus. There's a formula they use to gauge the difference between employment between the two states. It was a natural comparison in the paper because the fast food restaurants were very close by, and one had a minimum wage hike, and the other one, because the state government, did not have a minimum wage hike. Then we see the actual numbers regarding the increased employment. It was about 13%. Um, Again, it was similar regions, so it was a good comparison, natural comparison that the author drew. And employment actually did increase after the minimum wage was introduced in New Jersey compared to Pennsylvania, and that difference is shown in the chart of about 13%. So employment did increase. What about prices? Well, prices was more mixed. Prices did increase, but regions where the minimum wage did not hike significantly or wasn't in effect yet, the prices were similar. The price range hikes were similar. However, compared to Pennsylvania, the rate of price change was higher. So this makes evidence that the prices did increase. So as we were saying before, we're looking at employment, we're looking at prices, and as discussed in the theoretical models, and we also look at whether or not deadweight losses occur. Now, one way of gauging this is to see if there's loss of benefits for employees as a way to make up for deadweight loss for the employer. And as you see, when we combine reduced meals and free meals, New Jersey had a slower rate of reduced free meal production compared to Pennsylvania. However, it was also mixed and not statistically significant, and reduced meals were negatively impacted, but free meals received a boost. So in conclusion, when we look at sort of what the paper is saying and how it relates to what we learned in class about deadweight loss, price floors, introducing something and putting it above equilibrium, there wasn't statistically significant evidence that the price of goods changed and deadweight loss, which might affect benefits for employees, changed. There was some statistical significant evidence that employment, which is a strong emphasis in the paper, did increase compared to Pennsylvania. So as we go back to our think about question, I want you to think about how the theoretical economics of price floors match the observational effects of the minimum wage on employment and price. In that case, the minimum wage did not match the price floor theory regarding employment. And as we learned in class, deadweight loss didn't really occur, as evidenced by the actual increase in benefits compared to Pennsylvania, which may suggest that employers are not making up for deadweight loss. They're not making up for deadweight loss by reducing benefits for employees. So deadweight loss was not a thing, at least in regards to benefits for employees. The employment did increase, and prices were the evidence for the hike in prices was insignificant. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that as we learned in class, deadweight loss increases as we introduce something above equilibrium. But in this case, this was not the case, probably because the price increase was pretty moderate, I would imagine. As we go further above equilibrium, we start to see significant deadweight loss and significant unemployment for employers. But in this case, the paper didn't find anything and was disagreeing with some of the common theoretical economics models, such as this one and this one. So application related to class, deadweight loss didn't occur. And bigger picture is that the empirical economics did not really agree with the theoretical one. And I think that's it.